Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sabine, and I'm a certified coach, and I specialize in working with leaders and entrepreneurs to clear unwanted patterns, blocks from the personal and professional life. And I do that by specifically isolating the problem they have, find the root causes, and then clear it and test it until it's gone. And today, I wanted to talk about the fear of conflict. This is an interesting one because for the past 5 years, I've worked with leaders globally in all different levels. And what I see is that it's actually pretty common to still have this fear. I think it's instilled in most of us. And it can unfold in so many ways that it can be a bit hard to notice at times. So how does it show up? Many people assume that the fear of conflict will just create a person who is very gentle with their words and is very people-pleasing. However, that is not the case. Fear of conflict can also show up in being struggling to hold back your anger, to be aggressive very fast if someone says something, to go in defense mode. So some of the people who almost seems like they are very fond of conflict or doesn't have a problem with it or is almost starting it, they actually have the fear of conflict. And we can call it many names, but essentially, if you struggle with staying calm and centered and honest with clear boundaries, whenever someone is coming at you with a frustration or whenever you have something you're frustrated with and want to communicate in a good way, there's a pattern here to look at. The first thing we need to do is to figure out, okay, what happens to you when there's a conflict? Will you usually try to mitigate or change whatever you're saying to fit it? Or do you feel like just escaping and running? And do you kind of avoid doing the conversation altogether? Or do you just want to apologize really quickly for whatever the person is unsatisfied with without really 100% listening and taking it in and talking about it? Or do you get into a discussion quite quickly and feel a need to almost dominate the situation so it doesn't get out of hand? Or something else. So first notice, what is your pattern? Which direction do you go in? Do you go softer or do you go harder? And once you have decided that, you can pull out a specific recent example. And in the work I do, we can use that specific example to pull up the exact, we can call them programs, limiting beliefs, conditioning. There's a lot of different elements here. We can pull up exactly what's running it. And then piece by piece, we can clear it and test it until that pattern of behavior is gone. So that you can go from the conflicts being something that turns into either a discussion or feeling of resentment or powerlessness to actually finding a better solution and improving relationships. Because the truth is, every time there's any conflict, it's because some part in the conflict has an unmet need for long enough to needing to put it forward as a discussion. And every single time we have a discussion or an argument or a conflict, it means that there is just something to be understood and a solution to be found. Every single time we find a solution in a conflict, the circumstances around the conflict, the relationship will improve, which is extremely important in work situation and in personal relationships. If we are unable to resolve conflict or actually get something out of it, long term, the relationships will dissolve. They will suffer. This is the number one killer of relationships. It's not setting boundaries, and it's not being able to have a conflict in a way where you can actually resolve something. And usually you will find that in the case of conflicts, that's when we feel the most triggered. An example of where this could stem from is, let's say that you grew up and whenever you were unsatisfied with something or unpleased with something, you could feel that your parents, they got really upset. And maybe you learned that conflict is not safe. Or if I'm unhappy with something or if I speak up, no one will like me. Or maybe you heard about other people. Maybe your parents talked about some of the friends or someone they knew that was unlikable in their eyes because of them speaking up or discussing things. But if you look at your childhood, how was conflict handled? Did you see that conflict was handled by gracefully exploring the different perspectives, giving people time to speak, and people being good friends quickly after? Or was conflict something where people got angry, they yelled, they threw things, or maybe they got upset, or one of the parts was silent, or you just felt tension without someone ever speaking about it, or maybe the same subjects came up over and over again? Think back on the earliest experiences you had with conflict, and there you have a big, juicy clue for why some of your troubles with conflicts exists. Now, when we talk about any pattern, there's usually more than one piece to it, right? So there could be different elements. But one thing is for sure, every single time when one piece is pulled out of the pie, the pattern pie, the pattern will get milder until it's gone. So if you can resonate with this, let me know in the comment section. And also, if you're curious about trying this out, you can get a free trial and try this out for yourself. You're willing to subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. And thank you. Bye.